Well, welcome to the last video of the course, and I just want to recap the course a little bit. So thank you for taking the course. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it, and I learned a lot, and I plan on to continue teaching this class in different formats. Um, the I Ching is a fascinating tool for me. I enjoy its use as an astrological tool. I enjoy its use as an ethical tool, and I'm just sort of innately drawn to it. And I've also noticed that my favorite thinkers, both Eastern and Western, they use the I Ching. So for me, there's an innate resonance and drive to interact with the I Ching for its own merits. But I hope with this class that you recognize the value of the I Ching for allowing you to reflect on situations so that you can align your feelings and actions with your values, with with your behavior, and understand how those fit with the values of the community. And I feel like when we have awareness of these things, we can choose our actions and non-actions more wisely, and really and then we can begin to internalize that as we learn those lessons. And I think that becomes the fun part, is by using this often enough, is that it does become effortless. You become natural. You have thought about the effect on the greater good, and you have thought about how where yourself is coming from. And a lot of times we can start having that natural harmony, again, of being a way of self and other, of internal and external. And that's really the goal of the I Ching. And sometimes it can be a little painful, like any growing process is, if you use it a lot. But I always recommend using it as a meditative tool to give you insight. It will help you access the parts of your psyche that really aren't available when you are in ego consciousness. So now you can get to these brain waves that have, that can allow you to see a wider perspective of things. You can have sort of a peripheral psychological vision. And even if that doesn't affect your actions per se, because again, I don't feel like using the I Ching to tell you what to do is a very sophisticated usage of it. It provides counsel so that you can see for yourself what you're supposed to do. And equally as important as your behavior, what this allows you to do is to get psychologically centered. You get to start to understand your axis. You recognize where you're coming from. You start seeing the cause and effect of your actions and your responses. This allows you to cultivate a little bit of maturity and the willingness to accept these repercussions. So what it does is it helps us sort of gain awareness of our defense mechanisms of denial and of repression and of projection. And this will benefit us in our lives, and it benefits us in the treatment room. Because as we said, these are transference things to what happen with these defense mechanisms. So if you repress material, or you have a lot of material that you haven't examined, then that's going to go on to your patient. And then their projections are going to come back onto you. And both of you are just going to be projecting like a game of ping pong off each other. And to some degree, this happens all the time, but we don't want to just kind of stick to the default setting. We do have options of gaining awareness of these mechanisms. We don't have to judge them. We don't have to judge our patient for projecting onto us. We don't have to judge ourselves for projecting onto them. That's the thing. We can have that detached awareness, and we can learn from that situation. We can learn from that very moment where they projected onto us and we projected onto them. And no behavior has to be an ethical violation at that time, yet we had an opportunity to learn. So by pretending that we don't have attractions towards different people, that we don't have anger, that we don't have certain types of impulses, does not help anyone out. That we don't act on them is good, but that we pretend we didn't feel them that's going to cause them to move outward. That's the mechanism of repression, is that it gets projected. So you want to take those moments when these things happen as an opportunity to heal. And it can allow, and a lot of times when we are in the acupuncture treatment room or the massage treatment room, we pick up, again, this somatic transference from our patients. So they might not be our impulses. But if we haven't examined our own material, we can't tell which is which. So that is the goal of the I Ching, is to be able to differentiate self from other. And then that also makes us more comfortable when we do merge. So in a lot of psychology, we're not here to maintain like really rigid psychological boundaries. We're there to be empathic. We're there to soften that gap between two individuals. But again, without a strong integrity and anchor in your own axis, that's ripe for boundary issues, because we have merged our boundaries temporarily. We didn't merge our physical boundaries. We didn't merge our sexual boundaries. We didn't merge our professional boundaries. But what we did was we allowed ourselves to be open-hearted with another individual. And that is the foundation of ethics. That is the foundation of our practice. So that's really why we do this, to refine our boundaries and to take control of some of these psychological defense mechanisms. And then eventually we can relinquish control once we've internalized them. So I hope you've enjoyed the course, and please contact me if you have any questions. And we have other materials with the I Ching that we would keep addressing more the mythological elements, the more mystical elements, the more spiritual elements, and just the elements that we have innate interest in. For this class, we try to confine it into a bit more rational Western way of approaching it and how we can apply that to our profession. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you next time.